sharp do 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 do. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Greeting, greeting, greeting. Hello, welcome. Yep, Sunday again. Oh, 2 weeks off from the chest X-ray. Yeah, back to the land of the living. It's been an interesting week weather-wise in the UK. We started the week out with freezing conditions and snow or sky dandruff, and we finished it up with pouring rain and a storm. Yay! Yeah, it's been one of them weeks. Fortunately, we didn't get too much snow here. It was only an inch or two, 5 centimeters. Fell overnight and didn't really affect me too much. Pippa didn't want to go for her walk that day. Can't really blame her. She basically took one step outside, turned around and went back indoors again. Yeah, I've got to say I echoed the sentiment because it was bitterly cold that day. It was -7 without the wind chill, which is quite high. So then we got above freezing later on in the week, and then back below freezing and snow again last night, which is all gone again because it wasn't very much at all, and it's been a warmer day, he says. We had a bit of rain as well, which helped melt it all. So providing it doesn't freeze tonight, it should be relatively okay tomorrow, he says. Hopefully. Yeah, some interesting cycles to and from work. But yeah, it's been an interesting week overall, I think we can say. And with it warming up a little, I have been back up here in the cave the last couple of days. It got to the point where I was just, nope. I'm happy just sitting here wrapped in my blankie, watching TV. Well, not the TV, watching YouTube. Didn't really want to move, to be honest. But now we're starting to pick up the weather, and apparently it's supposed to be double digits tomorrow, so I feel like blooming summer. Yeah, so hobby-wise, what have I been up to this week? Well, I finished off the Reaper that I was doing last week. Got that mounted and framed and hung. Got the big Cthulhu I did over Christmas finally mounted and framed and hung. And then made a start here on Gianna. So yeah, it's been a week. Did upload a video, was it Friday? Bit of a mini haul video, along with some of the tools that I find useful, the extras that I use when I'm diamond painting most of the time. It's and I used the last of my Crimble money and ordered another book nook. This one's a big. I say a big. It's a larger one. More like a mini doll's house than a book nook, but looks to be very cool. So that will be on the calendar at some point. I do have a week off the end of February, so I might do it then. If I don't decide to do another ridiculously large diamond painting instead. Well, ridiculously large by my standards. Because I can't see the weather improving too much by then. I know it's 6 weeks away, but still the depths of the English or British winter. Then, yeah, so I mean, if the weather does pick up and it's sort of semi-decent, i.e. dry and above freezing, and I'll probably get out in the garden and start clearing more of the stuff that I should have cleared for winter. But the weather went from being nice to being, and it's pouring down with rain every day. So I didn't get out there and pull all of the stuff out I should have pulled out, but there we go. Can't have everything. Howdy, Linkbot. I did notice I do have some of the snowdrops I planted last autumn have come up and flowered. A few of them at least, if not all of them. I guess I might have planted some a bit shallower than others, some a bit deeper. Or some rotted off or been eaten. And these things do happen in gardens. It's never a guarantee that everything's going to survive. Yeah, so it'll either be lots of crafty stuffs or out in the garden for that last week in Feb when I'm off. What else going on? Not a huge amount, really. Yeah. I did have some more diamond paintings turn up, but I want to get them sorted and put away rather than film another haul update type video. So they've all gone away. Mostly similar to the usual stuff. There is one of a Wendigo in there, which will be quite cool. So that is the plan, to get some paranormally, supernaturally, cryptidy type diamond paintings done this year. Just change of scenery, as it were. Continue the general theme of, well, breasts and death. I'm nothing if not predictable. hey, beats watching Love Island or whatever other dross is on television lately. I'm a has-been. Please give me my career back. Uh, you know, reality shows and generally beige stuff. Nothing interesting or thought-provoking on TV these days. Howdy, old Sammy boy, how you doing? And yes, I am aware that in some parts of the world, using the term boy going through a protest right now. Oh dear. Um, I'm going to guess it's about something Trump related. Quite rightly too. Um, Mr. People don't like me. I'm going to declare a state of national emergency. Of course, they don't like you. Ice out for good protest. Yeah. The ice babies. The I'm scared of the middle-aged white mother driving her car, so I'm going to pretend she ran me over and then pop her 3 times in the face. Yeah. We have a name for that over here. It's called cold-blooded murder. And that dude should be in prison already and then not be getting out ever again. Although I don't think an ICE agent would last very long in prison. Probably come across a whole bunch of people he's helped put in there who aren't going to be very happy to see him. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. At this point, ICE is just an overgrown homeowners association. Yeah, last one was what, I don't hate you. Yep. Yeah. Something tells me he's compensating for something or just thinks that because he's working for Donald, basically, he thinks he can get away with anything. So just be careful yourself, though. We know what old Trumple Thinskin thinks of protests about him and what he likes. So be prepared to duck and cover. Duck, quack, quack. Quack, quack. Quack, quack, quack. Howdy, Mikey. How you doing? Quack, quack. You know you're good at animal noises when you're out and about and you see an animal and you make the noise and they respond. I regularly get it's usually ducks, sheep, pigs, and cows actually replying to me. I'm that weirdo that isn't worried about making animal noises in public, as will come as no surprise to anyone who knows me. I've definitely made weirder noises in public. That'll be the belly button. Yeah, given some of the noises that have come out of my body over the years. Yeah, on a good day, cows generally annoy. Yeah, I find cows to be quite friendly. I definitely prefer cows to horses. Well, except for eating, because horse tastes better than beef. Cue the outrage. You can't say that. Oh, horses are. Yes, horses are outdated. They're kind of pointless for transport these days because a bike is quicker, cheaper, more efficient. Not really much point in having them on farms because, well, farm machinery is quicker, more efficient. And horse racing, well, these people are aware we do have like car and bike racing. Maybe some outside the fence, not inside the fence, not important, no food. Yeah, I'm generally outside the fence as well. I stop and moo at them. So I'm like, They usually come over and say hello because cows are friendly. And I have a little fuss, and then I'll pull up some long grass and give them a bit of grass to eat, and I've made a new friend. Like Einhorn the bullock the other year. Who I saw a few times before he got moved into either moved into a different field or into a slaughterhouse. One or the other. Yeah, he was a friendly little bullock. He'd come over and say hello, had a feed, had a fuss, and then he remembered me the next time I was there. I said hello, and he came over. Because he's a good boy. And yes, I know that makes me sound super soppy and sad and not alpha male. Might just be American cows that are, stuck up, snotty. Scared of strangers. Yeah. All you vibes going to fishy swap. Cool, cool, cool. Looking for anything in particular, or anything you're looking to get rid of in particular? Here's where you go, 3,000 guppies to get rid of. So they're not really a thing over here. I mean, there are like fish clubs, as it were, but there's none around this area. The closest is actually more where Mary lives. Yeah, should have a bit of fun now, I'd have thought. As long as you don't succumb to the, ooh, shiny. Come home with a bunch of fish and you've got no idea where you're going to put them. That's one I have to stop myself with. I'll go into an LFS just for a look around and I'll maybe some food. I'll look around in LFS. I'll see a bunch of cool fishes I want, and then I'll be like, yeah, but where am I going to put them? I haven't got a suitable tank for them, or tank space, or what have you. Balls, there's another row as well. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, so there's a few things I want. I keep thinking of the, about the blue crayfish, because they are super cool, but they do get rather large, and obviously you can't really have them with live plants because they'll eat them. You can't really have them with other tank mates because they'll eat them. So it kind of limits things, and they get quite big. Not that they need a huge amount of room, but apparently they can get quite territorial as well. And I'd want a few so I could do breedies, or at least try to do breedies. Not personally with them, you understand, but that would be a bit weird. Probably illegal. Well, definitely illegal too. Although if I could crossbreed me with a thing like dwarf crayfish with a 50 load boiled microfish, yeah, that could work. Providing the dwarf crayfish stay dwarf and don't get big enough to start sniping the fish off as they swim past. It's something I'd have to look into and figure out. I know food-wise, they're pretty easy to figure out what to feed them. Anything, being as they are scavengers and detrivores. Basically, they'll eat anything you give them. And so, because I've got the 15-gallon flex at the moment is running ridiculously warm because the heater I think is stuck on. But it's not stuck on, it just won't turn down enough to be cooler. But it turned down all the way and it's still running at like 28 degrees. And all that's in that is a few leftover mollies from the ones that a colleague at work gave me because, well, they got sick of being overrun with mollies, and the mollies eating all their plants and chasing around the other fish, and generally just doing molly things. So yeah, I've got that tank up and running, which I could really do something actually worthwhile with rather than that. But that's probably the biggest tank I've got that isn't, a no-no. Although I really did enjoy the Achia the giant African wood shrimp, when I had those, until Spaz decided to eat them. Well, I assume that's what happened because they disappeared and I never found anything. Never found sign of them, so I assume they got eaten. Because he did get to the size where he was actively eating XL swordtails. So full-grown, big, chunky swordtails I bought a trio of, and 2 days later I didn't have any of them. 2 days later I had one left. Then I happened to just glance up at the tank to see Spaz the Biter, swimming about with the swordtail's tail, just the sword sticking out of his mouth. I was like, that's where they went. They became snackos. But then he's not there, and the only kind of larger creature in that tank is now Ernie, the electric blue Akara. Pardon me. I think he's on his way as well. He's developing some kind of tumour or something on his side. He's got a big old lump that's coming up under his scales. But then he is like 7 or 8 years old, which is pretty good going for a chicklet. Actually, a lot of my fish are getting to that kind of age now. So yeah, might be time this year to start having a bit of a think about a move around and a redo of some of the tanks. I might split the Amicus Splendid colony up as well. Just to split them across 2 tanks, just in case something goes wrong in one of them, then I'll still have some. Because we all know how these things work. Yeah. We shall see. A lot of H's. And what else we got? We can do. I think moving some of the fish around should be easy enough. Most of them aren't too skittish. When Ernie is, he'll just run away and hide. Because he does that anyway. Ever since Bert died, Ernie has become a bit of a shrinking butterfly. Likes to hide up. I do need to get some more dwarf cichlids of some flavour because they're just cool. Whether I go predictable and go cribs or see if I can find some type of pistos around. I've already said big no to any more rams because they just don't survive in my water. They all go the same way. Start out healthy, doing well, then they usually get Popeye, bloat, and then kick the bucket. So it's normally within about a month. So I'm going to guess it is purely just down to the water I have. And just even if the pH I can get low enough, I think it's just the water is just way too hard for them. Well, the black water tank might work because that's actually pretty soft water in there now. Or I could pull apart that other flex and literally just use magical butt water in it. Rainwater, so those who don't know what I'm talking about. I call it butt water because it comes out of my water butt. And it is essentially rainwater that has been filtered through a whole heap of moss and dead leaves. And so I live in one of the areas of the country which is very rural, so there's not an awful lot of pollution in the rain. It's not a very common thing to have to clean things because it's rained on them. So yeah, we might give that a go. A second butt water tank with literally like just a pair of them in there. I suppose I could just stick some in the black water tank rather than do another one, and then they get to feast on shrimpies while they're in there. Because there are bloody thousands of shrimp in that black water tank, and there's not supposed to be shrimp in there. It's not meant to be a shrimp tank. It just is full of shrimp. Pretty much all wild type now as well, so it's not like I've got to worry about any particular colour strain or anything. There's the odd sort of red one, orange one, yellow one, green one, blue one, black one. The majority of the wild colour types now, so leave them be. Or maybe I could drain it down, take a whole bunch of shrimp out, put them in a different tank. Yeah, that might work. Stranger things have happened. Exclusive benefits. Well, there's a few emojis, and that's about it. I don't get enough views on things to be bothering about member-only content. As, to be brutally honest, most of the time now I'm kind of struggling to think of things that I could actually do as a video. Especially this time of year where I'm not going out, getting about much. So there's not any sort of places I've been visiting I can waffle on about. So I can't exactly go making a video for every single diamond painting I buy. Although I am going to have to cut back a bit because I'm getting rather a few. So I'm not just going to go out and buy things like book nooks or whatever just so I can make a video unboxing. I don't have hundreds of spare income every month to be doing that. Plus, been there, done that, and if you keep, as I found, especially like model kit reviews, get very samey. There's only so much you can look at and talk about, and unless you're specifically interested in that particular kit, then yeah. The only way they get a lot of views is if you're the only one that's done a review on it or an unboxing, or if it's a brand new kit that, again, nobody else has done a video on yet. But then as soon as one of the bigger channels does their video on the same kit, you stop getting the views. And it'd be exactly the same thing with diamond paintings. Here's the picture, here's the drills. Here is the tool set they give you, which is the same as every other one you get. There's literally 2 basic tool sets you get with all the kits. Keto breath. What, you or me? So, because if you can smell my breath from there, you're doing really well. Oh, you can taste it. I taste energy drink and smoke, but that's just a general way of being for me. Get more confused when I can't taste it. Right, so one, because now we do the rest of that row that I missed because I'm an idiot. It tastes like acetone. I'll bear that in mind. I mean, I try not to drink acetone if I can help it. It's something I've fairly regularly used on my fingers and, as we know, on the side of my head that time. Pretty much any time I super glue myself together or to something. Which happens way more than I'd like to admit. You'd think after all these years of dealing with super glue, all throughout my RC car career, gluing the tyres on, all my modelling career, general use. Don't drink acetone, you got yourself a brick. I see, there was a video I was watching the other day. It was like, what makes someone British? And it wasn't drinking tea, it wasn't drinking acetone, it wasn't accent, or basically it's an attitude, and it's specifically the way we take the piss out of everything. By which I mean poke fun at, make fun of, take the mickey, which is actually a racial slur originally. Aimed at the Irish. Not British. Well, I've had several of them, but all self-inflicted. And you're not American unless you've witnessed at least one mass shooting. If the sound of a car engine backfiring or a firework going off makes you duck under the table, then you're American. Or Afghanistani, or Syrian, maybe. It's a good job you guys know me, isn't it? You see, this is what I was saying about being British, is the sense of humour. And just how dark it can get. And the way it's like, it's absolutely okay for us when we take the mickey out of like the next county over or our county. Like take the mickey out of Norfolk for being full of inbreds with webbed feet, webbed fingers. 100 years behind the times, blah, 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 all that stuff. But when someone else does it, we get really rather defensive. Like, hey, that's our thing. That's our thing to take the mickey out of, wind up, cause trouble with. Yeah, I think we're safe. That picture doesn't show anything, does it? By all means, feel free to insult Alabama. Squeal like a piggy, boy. Yeah. Super, super, super religious, God-fearing state full of incest. Isn't one of the Ten Commandments? I mean, I'm no theologian, but isn't one of the Ten Commandments thou shalt not commit incest? I mean, when the family tree starts to look like either a ladder or a wreath, something's gone wrong. Calm down, Linkbot. Yeah. Look at some fish stuff. Have fun. Good luck. Give vibes a fist bump for me, or a hug, whichever you feel more appropriate. And maybe burp. Then you'll know where it's from if you do a big loud burp in his ear. Sharpe sends a fish bump. Burp. Fish bump. There you go. Good. Yeah. Yeah. We don't look with our fingers. We look with our eyes. That's what I was always told as a kid. Look with your eyes, not your fingers. Right, ciggy break time. Oh, hang on, is that snowing again? Bear in mind it's dark outside, but yeah, it looks like snowy sleet. Oh joy. Well, at least it won't settle and it's not going to freeze tonight. And if you want to know how much difference body heat makes to a room, the temperature in here has gone up 2 degrees since in the last hour since I've been in here. We can get chicken patties. Don't know how to. I really want to. Chicken patties have 90% of my diet last. Oh, chicken burgers, as we would call them. We don't call it a chicken sandwich. We call it a chicken burger. Because a chicken sandwich to us is like sliced chicken between two slices of bread. Enjoy going to Winco. I would say enjoy the protest, but I don't think you're meant to enjoy those. Yeah, just be careful while you're there. Just me again. Oh no. Lonely I'm Mr. Lonely, so lonely all by myself. Anyway, someone random might turn up. Fly the mouse back up and see what. When you say chicken sandwiches in the context on which one you're talking about? Yeah. Chicken sandwich is chicken between two bits of bread. Chicken burger is a chicken shaped burger in a bun. A beef burger is a beef shaped burger in a bun. And a hamburger is a ham. It's a pork bun. Pork burger in a bun. Chicken fillet between two buns. Then you've got very small buns. So chicken fillet ain't that big. Even a capon. And a capon is a fully grown chicken. And the ones we buy fillet, that's basically the one side of the either one side of the breast or the inner breast fillet. Yeah, which will fit inside a bun. Or a bread roll, as we would call it. To us, a bun is more of a sweet thing, and a roll is a savoury one. But yeah, we do bread rolls that are 6 inches. So yeah, you easily get a whole chicken fillet in there. And what you call chicken tenders is what we would call an inner fillet, which is the inner breast fillet. Do I have peanut butter in my house? Not at the moment, but it is on my to get list. I should get some Marmite peanut butter though, because the way to improve peanut butter is to make it taste of Marmite. And yes, our peanut butter basically has the ingredient list of peanuts. It's not chock full of preservatives and antioxidants and enhancers and God knows what else. It is literally just peanuts. Same as all non-blue cheeses. The ingredient list reads milk. Sometimes there might be extra curds or whey in there, but it's all just milk. Milk. If I didn't drink milk, I'd only be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. Who are they exactly? Old British Milk Board advert. Milk, lemonade, round the corner, fudge is made. Oh dear. Oh dear. Finger of fudge is just enough until it's time to eat. Or the version we used to sing at school, a finger and thumb were just enough to give your girl a treat. British school kids, endlessly inventive when it comes to perverting songs. It's like we can all channel our inner Weird Al. Especially when it came to singing hymns at school. Not that I can remember most of them anymore because I've tried to forget school assemblies as quickly as they happen, but they were generally reduced to toilet humour, let's be honest. Yay, that's far enough. Um, British boys and toilet humour is just a staple. And that's where I learned to be really good at keeping a straight face. Exactly, farts are never not funny, especially when it's all really quiet in the school hall and you're having an assembly and you're sat on one of those rattly wooden benches and the teacher or whoever is waffling on about some boring rubbish you've got no interest in, and someone just rips a really loud fart on the bench or on the sprung floor, and it just rattles throughout the whole assembly hall. Everyone hears it, and somehow everyone manages to sit and keep a straight face. Unless it stank and then people started gagging. Then it became fairly obvious where the noise had come from. As the people around you start going, pulling their jumpers up over their noses, giving you dirty looks. Yeah, busted. Usually followed by Sharpe, see me after assembly. Yes, sir. Usually followed by some kind of lecture like, I understand that sometimes you just need to pass wind, but can you please try and do it more quietly in future? Oh, those are the days. Oh, speaking of which, pardon me. Yeah, that's just the way it was. You're going to bore a bunch. You're going to sit there boring a bunch of teenage kids, boys in particular. You got to expect something like that's going to happen. Especially if it's a bunch of teenage boys who've got absolutely no interest in religion and they're getting waffled at and sermonized at by the local bishop. Maybe I shouldn't have done it that time in the Abbey. That was a bit much, but needs must. It's not like I was going to stick my hand up in the middle of the whole school and yeah, literally everyone from the whole school. 800 kids, all the teachers, And, excuse me, can I go outside, please? As they would ask why. Yeah, well, I need to fart. Because that would just lead to a queue of boys sticking their hands up when they got bored and going outside for a cigarette under the pretense they were going out for a fart. It would just basically been certainly all the fifth year and probably most of the fourth year boys, which is the 15 to 16-year-olds generally, like 14 to 16. They would have just all been stood outside smoking, even the ones that didn't smoke. I'd rather have stood in the rain and the freezing cold and the snow and sit and listen to another sermon. It's like, yes, we know the difference between right and wrong, good and bad. Yes, we don't care. No, I don't need to worry about God being upset with me for being sinful or naughty or bad. Don't have to worry about that because I've got parents, or in my case, foster parents, who will kick my butt if I am. Quite literally. Yeah. Who'd have thought it? Threats of actual physical violence do work as a way of disciplining. It's not a microaggression, it's an aggression. Oh, God. Yes, microaggression is just a term thought up by people who are far too sensitive and far too sheltered. People who haven't been properly shouted at in their lives before. They can't deal with it. Although, to be fair, it's one thing I've not been accused of is microaggressions. Probably because I'd have to ask them what a microaggression actually was and then why they thought that was aggressive. The patriarchy, no, it's not. Yeah, we'd best stay away from that subject. It's going to upset even more people than religion or politics these days. What can we talk about safely? G'day, Deli. How are you, me darling? How did your Christmas visit go? I hope all went well. Unless, of course, he's still there, in which case things definitely gone well. Back in like 10 weeks. It definitely went well then. Go you. all loved up. What's that I hear in the distance? Is it wedding bells? I'm joking. The 40th. Oh, you little bubba, little girly. Oh, baby Deli. Totally marrying the mayonnaise. Well, unfortunately, 10 weeks. So you'll miss Valentine's, which is traditionally when the woman can propose to the man. Patriarchy. Yes. I know I'm winding you up and having a laugh about it, but divorce isn't through yet. Fair enough. Yeah, you got to wait for that, unfortunately. Laws. Yeah, polyamorous marriages tend not to go down very well. Yeah, I know I'm winding you up, and I know coming from me, this is just going to sound sarcastic, but yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you found someone, and that isn't meant to sound as sarcastic as it probably did. It's just me. Oh, one of my colleagues said to me the other day, he says, "Why do you always take the mickey?" You use stronger language that I won't use on YouTube. I said, "Well, if I started being nice to you, you'd worry, wouldn't you?" Yeah, yeah, exactly. So by continuing to take the mickey and call you all sorts of random offensive nicknames, I suppose. Yeah. Carry on then, princess. You bastard. Uh, this is the guy I started calling molasses, and he didn't understand why. Liquid the only fins? How the devil are you doing, bud? Has been a while. God dear. I think we're coming out of hibernation. Yeah. Linkbot's been trying to give me the big up today, so thanks for that. Pick the worst time's cold as ever. Yes, yeah, it's been similar here. Don't worry about it. This week it got down to -7 Celsius, which is what? Somewhere in the 30s Fahrenheit, but that was before the wind chill, and we had rather strong northeasterly winds. Basically, the wind coming just above 0, 33. Yeah, so we were in the 20s then. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, -7 it was on Tuesday, which no wonder Doggo didn't want to go for her walk. 33F, is that the amount of times you've said that about the temperature? Literally every time you've gone outside, you've F'd once. Yeah, so yeah, we had that. We had the snow. Um, and now it's warmed up and it's just above freezing and it's stopped now. But it was sleeting about half hour ago. You know, typical British winter, which is nice to have a typical British winter. The last few have just been mild and wet, which is it's cheaper because you don't need the heating on as much, but it's just horrible. At least the snow is like hard rain, so you don't get wet. Um, yeah, especially cycling to work is not fun in the rain. Must have amazing patience. It's not a patience thing. I've had a lot of people say that. It's to me, it's not patience. It's just I just sort of zen out. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing very much. My mind just either clears out or does what it wants to do, thinks about random stuff, sorts problems out. Um, Sometimes it just goes completely blank. I'm just sat here dabbing away without a care in the world. And you know what? Sometimes that does better than a good night's sleep. Uh, Fish are all fishy. Still got all the tanks up and running. Still got way too many bristle noses. Um, the Limia colony is going nuts. What else? The shrimp in the tank that's not meant to have shrimp in is the biggest shrimp colony I've got. The Amicus splendens are breeding well. The juvenile bristle noses that are in the grow out tanks have started to breed, so I'd best clear some of them out. You know, when you look in your grow out tank, or in my case, I was doing a water change and pouring a water change bucket into the sink, and I'm like, hang on, oh crap. There are teeny tiny baby whistle noses in there. How on earth did that happen? Well, it happened because some of the adults, some of the other baby bristle noses are 4 inches long now. 75 going with hundreds of bristle noses. Yeah, big mistake. Yeah, what I do is I cull them these days. I mean, I don't cull live fish. What I do is I make sure the caves that I know they breed in, which is the cave I put in the tank, is facing the front of the tank so I can see into it. And when I see a male bristlenose butt doing the wafty waggle, obviously depending on the flavour, so it's just the commons at the moment because I don't mind having more reds or whatever the heck is coming out of the super red lemon eye or lemon blue eye tank. Weirdly commons, I think. But yeah, if I know I don't need or don't want the spawn, Then I just pull the eggs out of the cave and stick them in the fridge or the freezer to kill them, just to make sure they don't like accidentally hatch. Because I would feel bad culling baby fish. I don't feel bad about getting rid of eggs. I mean, I've pulled my sink trap apart before underneath the kitchen sink. Pull the U-bend out because I had a shrimp go down there once. But that was when I didn't have many shrimp. I think I just got them and didn't realise that there was one in the water change bucket. These days, I just put the plug in and grab the turkey baster and suck all the baby shrimp out. Because even though I try to make sure I don't get any in the jug when I'm putting the water in the bucket, and then I get the filter media and I sort of swish it around in the tank a bit to try and get them all out of it. Every week there's at least a dozen baby shrimp in the bottom of the sink that all need catching. And it's, yeah. And just when you think you got them all, you find another one. And some of them are so tiny. You're thinking, how the heck did you not? You're obviously in the filter media, in the sponge. How the heck did you not get squished when I smushed the sponge to, or the floss to get all the gunk out of it? How did you survive? But they do. And I swear, shrimp are a lot hardier than people make them out to be. I have a theory about the shrimp. I mean, specifically the neocaridinas, because that's what I have most experience with. Is that they aren't as delicate as people seem to think they are. It's more that people are so worried about how delicate they perceive them to be that they over baby them and actually make them more delicate. And you see people doing the water change on their shrimp tank and they're dripping the water in gently and carefully matching the temperatures and the pHs and the TDSs. And then you get me just pulling it out with a jug, sticking it in a bucket, pouring it down the sink, filling the bucket back up from the sink with a bit of safe and just pouring it back in the tank. No subtlety, no delicacy. And I seem to end up with some very, very hardy shrimp. Whether that's partly because they're all reverting to wild type now, so they're losing their inbred nature, line bred nature. They're recovering their natural hardiness. Might be it. But yeah, they're not as delicate as people think. I think a lot of the problem is people keep their tanks too clean. Oh no, there's some dirt, I must get rid of it. Oh no, there's some algae, I must get rid of it. You know, the things that shrimp eat in the wild. Again, we're back to their detrivores. The stuff people tend to take out of their tank because they think it's bad is actually what the shrimp want. Which I know is a bit weird, but it's like the people who clear all the silt out the bottom of their garden pond because, oh, it's dirt. Dirt is bad. It must be bad. No. Yeah. I was actually talking to, random conversations I have with customers at work. And I work in a hardware store, so I know this is going to be a bit weird. Um, but randomly end up talking about fish or tanks or ponds. I was talking to someone, a pond person, the other day, and they couldn't get their head around that I don't feed my pond. It's not filtered. It doesn't get water changes or anything like that. But my goldfish are breeding. My comet goldfish breed in there. I've got baby fish swimming around. They couldn't get their head around that fact. Like, yeah, simple. It's because they're healthy. I don't need to feed them because the silt and the muck in the bottom of the pond and whatever falls in naturally is enough to feed them. They don't need extra. There are mosquito larvae, bloodworms, tube effect worms, um, what you'd call scuds, we call freshwater shrimp, all just chilling in there, just being a natural pond. Oh, yeah, we are starting to get visible what the picture is of, aren't we? Thankfully, this one it's what I would consider safe for work. Although I do understand that my definition of safe for work is probably a lot looser than most people's. Then, as I've said in the past, all depends on what you do for work. If you work for a church or you work for a children's school or children's society, charity, something like that, then yeah, what's deemed safe for work there is going to be completely different to if you work in the adult movie business. So what is safe for work there? It's, it all depends on what individual people are comfortable with as well. And being a Brit, we are generally speaking naturally just less prudish. Um, well, if we have like a show on TV and there is, let's say, Game of Thrones, right? This is a fairly good example. That there would be a warning about the violence in it and the gore, maybe the language, but there wouldn't be a warning about the nudity. Whereas why I understand it in the States, there would be a warning about the nudity in the language and maybe the gore, but not the violence. Um, which does seem weird considering, it's 15 or 18 rated. and it's on past the watershed, so only adults should watch it. But people still have to be warned about these things these days, because heaven forbid they might actually see something, interesting. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably a bit different down in Oz as well, with different levels of what would be deemed acceptable. Different countries, different cultures, separated by a common language. The common language which originates from this part of the country. Yeah, so all gets a bit interesting and weird. Yeah. Do I do these? There's quite a few of them. Yeah, we'll get these done and we'll have another puff. Have a pufflet. Oh, out of both ends. Yeah, isn't this? So, what have I been watching this week? Um, just fairly generic stuff I'd normally watch: paranormal, supernatural, history, Karens, the dumbest complaints made about things. The people who go to the beach and complain about it being sandy, or people who visit the Amazon rainforest and complain that the ground was dirty and it ruined their designer shoes. People who go on a cruise ship and then complain about, it's just sea in every direction. Or that the sea is not flat calm. Yeah. There was one who actually complained that there were other people on the cruise ship. They thought they would be the only people on it, other than like the captain and the staff. No. Most modern cruise ships hold about 5,000 people. So yeah, they're not just going to Could you imagine how much a ticket would cost if you wanted to take a big old cruise liner and just you and maybe your family? Oh, I think just the fuel bill would probably scare most people to religion. Um, when you're not measuring it in miles per gallon, you measure it in meters per ton. G'day, Craig. How you doing? You getting them Kappas breeding yet? Or the what's the other one? Not the Yowie. Yeah, the Bunyip. How's the Bunyip breeding program going on? Yeah, Kappas are Japanese, aren't they? Not Australian. Yes, the old Bunyip breeding program. Good, good, good. And please tell me Bell's work has calmed down now that all the holiday season and everything is over. I get that she made out like a boss with basically all the money, but even Bell needs a break. Nah. Oh, jeez. Give the poor girl a break. And I don't mean girl in an offensive manner. Just got home. Oh, Jesus Christ. Go to bed, Bell. Oh, a sleepover. Oh, I would say there's one thing I wouldn't do, but I actually would. So when obviously in a shop, so anytime anything like needs doing, sort of work wise, um, like we have people come in, they do it overnight, gets paid to sleep. Yeah, well, we all know people like that. And they might be upright or sat at their desk, but they're basically asleep. Certainly nothing going on between their ears. Yeah, yeah, good deal if you can get it. Um, yeah, I had wondered about. Well, should I like volunteer? Should I like say, look, next time we're having stuff done, rather than hire an external security guard, right? Just give me the keys. I'll spend the night because I'm not going to be freaked out if Samuel the ghost turns up and does what he likes to do usually. Um, I'll quite happily take the extra pay. I don't need to be trained in all the other stuff or shown how to like lock the door or. And it's got to be cheaper to have an existing staff member stay than hire an external person through an agency. So someone who actually knows the store, knows what's going on. I just know my phone would be going crazy all night with people checking I'm okay. Yes, I'm fine. I phoned the store phone, but you didn't answer. Oh no, I was outside having a cigarette. Although they might get a bit upset if I just sort of roll up and I've got one of my bigger rucksacks and I've got air mattress and sleeping bag in there. But, well, when the dudes finish what they're doing, I've got to stay here all night. I'm just going to lock the door and go to bed. Just as long as I woke up before the people turn up to open the shop in the morning. That probably wouldn't be a good look. Me snoring in the canteen in my pants. Well, much love, Craigo. Enjoy your thick thought time. It's someone not keep thinking about. Someone I'm thinking about maybe doing a thick thought. It's just having to come up with more ideas for content, and my brain's melting with that as it is. Have a good one, brother. Can I do it and get that row finished? Yes. There ain't that many colours left. There's quite a lot of H's. Oh, pardon me. Oh, there it is. Perhaps I might have to actually download TikTok on my phone at some point. Just have a mess about and a look. It'd give me somewhere I could post stuff that's not appropriate for YouTube, at least, I suppose. Right. What's next? We've got a couple of K's left. I missed on the first row, first go round. Ooh. Let's see what else we got. What else? What else can I possibly waffle about for the next nearly 20 minutes? Not that there's actually anybody here, I don't think. Right, if there is anyone here, don't be shy. If there's any kind of content you would like to see me do that I haven't done or you would like more of, let me know in the chat and I can have a think. If you're that one person who weirdly enjoys listening to my voice and likes me reading horror stories, or I guess most would probably say more fish videos, but there's literally nothing happening in the fish room at the moment. So if I filmed an update, it would basically be the same as the last update. It'd all be the same fish in the same tanks, doing the same things. Again, I will reiterate to anyone who happens to actually be listening, which is probably not many, if any. Yeah, dechlorinators. Seachem Safe is the way to go. It's well, if you've got one or two tanks, then whichever you prefer, the dechlorinators will do the trick. If you've got multiple tanks, Safe is the one that lasts forever. Because I water change all my tanks at least once a week. And one tub of Safe, not one of the big ones, the small one, lasts me over 3 years. I know what some people will say, but it smells. Oh well. It smells like rotten eggs. So it smells like someone farted. Okay. For what? The 30 seconds you've got the pot open, or the few minutes until it's done its job in the tank and stops smelling? Yeah, I'd even though I can't smell anything, I'd rather that and spend my what was it, 22 pounds, so probably about 30 bucks. I'd rather spend that once every 3 years and have a minor whiff in the house once a week than, you know, if I was using Prime, I would be buying a bottle of Prime every month at least. So I'd end up having to keep buying the big gallon jugs, which cost an absolute fortune. And you still get the same smell because it's the same product. Well, basically, there's probably some minor differences between the powder version and the liquid version, so Prime and Safe. But as a dechlorinator, yeah, Safe is the one to use. If you're really worried about the dosing, you can get a set of tiny little, basically medicine dosing spoons, like down to a 16th of a teaspoon, which is basically what goes into a bucket of water. a 15 litre or what's that? 4-gallon bucket, almost 3.5-gallon bucket. Oh, whereas I just go, yeah, that's enough. Close enough for government work. I don't worry about things being perfectly accurate. I've not had any issues yet. I've been using a safe for over 6 years now. So even if that is anecdotal proof, it's pretty good anecdotal proof. Although I'm probably going to have to get some kind of chlorine testing kit, I think. See if there is actually chlorine in my tap water. I don't think there's an awful lot of it. That's cool right now. And we get into the point in the row where I'm finding all the ones I missed earlier. Well, I've done a colour or shade, and oh yeah, there's another one. It happens. It's not a problem. It's no big deal. Just open a baggie or whatever you're storing them in and grab another one. Same with the wax, like there. People say, "Oh, this wax lasts longer than this one." It literally takes you 5 seconds to refill the wax in the pen. But the time it would take it to stick down 2 or 3 drills. That's not taken away from your time actually doing. Yes. Couple of R's. R. And yes, I do find keeping the bags in numerical order does help. So then you're not hunting about for where is that one. Oh, firing the hole again. It's going to be even worse in a bit when I have those microwave pizzas for tea, or supper, I should say, at this time of day. So on this painting, I'm back to doing the rows of 10 rows, as it were. This is a lot more colour blocky than the previous one, the Reaper, which was very confettified, as it were. So for that one, I was doing rows of 5. It's just Made it easier because you're not hunting and looking so far for all the odd little patches and odd drills in random places. And you don't miss as many, if any. So yeah, I just found it more efficient, considerably more efficient on that one. But this one, considering there's larger quantities of the same colour in each row and fewer different colours, I'm finding it easy to do it back in tens. Partly told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears as a final, most essential command. Orwell. Yeah. Or am I tempted to do something like quote some Nietzsche, but probably best not to. Instead, I'll quote some Lovecraft. You fool, Warren is dead. And yes, when Horror Babble gets that t-shirt back in stock, I will be buying one. Purely because it would just confuse everybody. Everybody unfamiliar with the story of Randolph Carter. That is. I missed an R as well. Ooh. Oh, we've got 8 minutes. Yeah. We can get this row finished in 8 minutes. There's only like 3 colours left to do. Most of what's left is all the same colour. Not 4, maybe 5. But I've done the ones with the most first, and then I'll work across from right to left, whichever one's next, do all those, and then move on to the next one until I get to the end of the row. Usually goes fairly slow, fairly slow, fairly slow, and what? Done. There's less and less of them to do each time. J's, N's, A's, and a Q and an 8. Yeah. Gonna be an interesting morning tomorrow because I've got water changes to do before work. I want to get more of this done as well, so and have a nap. I'm not sure when our new supervisor starts. It might be this week. I haven't had a look at the rota. It might be a case of they're kept away from me for a while. They figure out, get themselves a bit settled, and then before they get exposed to me. Going in, burping, farting, swearing. dark humour, crudity, you know, just generally being me. So what else has got? What else is going on this week? Walked in. Yeah, so working Monday to Thursday, and I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So is it? Yeah, I think I've got a 4-day weekend next week. Woohoo! Beats the 1-day weekend this week. The joys of working retail. When you manage to have 3 days off each week, but you still don't get 2 off together. Yeah, ID and debit card, because one of my medications isn't covered, and there's a scheduled narcotic. They put it with the prescription and end up throwing away the ID and debit card. And you're wondering whether they might have copied it, done something a bit iffy with it. As long as they weren't using it to cut your prescription for you, you know. Yeah, there we go. That's what, a row and 2/3 done in just under 2 hours, including waffling away, smoking, drinking. Put him in the bag with the prescription, took the prescription out, threw the bag away. Oh no. Gutted. That sucks. This is another good reason to always have the rubbish bin or trash bin inside the house, and to make sure the rubbish goes in there first. Because then, if you do realise you've thrown away something you didn't mean to, you can soon root it out without looking like a homeless person going through the trash bins. Most of my prescriptions are covered and don't have to show ID. So having to put ID and debit card back in my wallet wasn't routine. Yeah, I'll say these things can throw us out. It doesn't take much sometimes. We're simple creatures, especially us men. We can be very simple. How I work with one that's so simple you wouldn't believe. Someone who thought gluten-free meant there was no carbohydrates in the bread. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out. Anyway, though, that is my time. If you got thick thought on Craigos got live on the air, I think. Good news didn't trash out. Bad news is it smells like I need a second. Yeah, well, minor problem. Yeah, so anyone who's still here, which I think is just Sam, have a good week. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 love you. Sam do 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 love you. Sam do 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 do. Mondays suck. Do 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 do. Mondays suck. Do 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 do.